All right, y'all. So to no surprise, we see Tim Banks get fired or dismissed, obviously, as a defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, look, he's a good coach, man, but they did not have a good year this year. Tennessee was terrible on the defensive side of the ball, and a large reason why they couldn't win a lot of games. Now, again, look, they won games, they had a decent record, but this wasn't what Tennessee was supposed to be. Nah, I don't want to credit the Vols because, like I said, they went 8-4. Most people thought they were going to be one of the bottom teams of the SEC this year, and they won some notable games. But again, some of those games, like your offense puts up 41 points against Georgia, defense gives up 44 points. You know, the game, it was a win, but against Kentucky, you put up 56. Kentucky scores 34 points on your defense. Mississippi State game, you score 41, struggle towards the end, defense gives up 34 points. And then the worst one of them all that I think decided his job, Vanderbilt. No disrespect to Diego Pavia, but 45 points you gave up at home at Neyland Stadium, that'll do it. So it's a tough situation, obviously, to be in for Coach Heupel, but you got to do what you got to do. 8-4, solid season, but probably not to Tennessee standards. A team that made the playoffs a year ago, and did what they needed to do. Obviously, offense played, better. They had their moments, probably too many turnovers, but they always had you in games. And their rankings are not that good. Tennessee ranks like 96th in total points scored this season, or average giving up around about 30 points a game. They're ranked 92nd in total yards given up per game at 410. And they gave up about 60, or they were 60th in about yards per play. And the key was the red zone defense was not good this year. The tackling was not good this year. And just the overall consistency was not up to par for Tennessee standard. Now, they did do their thing, obviously, in creating defensive touchdowns, which was probably one of the tops in the league in doing. Credit to them for that. But other than that, they gave up way too many points. And it's not like this wasn't a talented defense, right? You had a lot of studs coming back. Jackson Wall. You had, obviously, Arian Carter, who's one of the best linebackers. It doesn't get talked about enough. You had, obviously, Colton Hood, who emerged as a really good defensive back for you. Tyler Redmond emerged as a true freshman, as a guy you could depend on. And I know, obviously, your stud cornerback didn't play a lot this year. Actually, Jamal McCoy didn't play at all. Forgive me for that. Probably will end up doing the redshirt year. But, again, you still had the pieces in order to be a really good secondary, right? You had young players ready to go. Linebackers that stepped up. Jalen Perlotti got playing time towards the end. Joshua Joseph is an elite pass rusher in college football. So you had the pieces to do it. Just the defense didn't come up to par, and they didn't play at the level that they could have. And if Tennessee wins one or two of those games, they're in the CFP, right? If you could have beat a Oklahoma who you lost to at home 33-27, if you could have beat a Vanderbilt who you lost to at home 45-24, or if you could have edged Georgia early in the year in that electric matchup between two really good teams, you lost 44-41. If you could have did that, then you could have won the game or been in the CFP. So, tough spot to be in, but I don't blame Coach Heupel for moving on. It was the right choice, the right decision. You got to be able to show up that defense, and you can't have your offense putting up those numbers they're putting up, scoring all those points they're scoring, and your defense continues to give it up and can't hold the lead. Yeah, that ain't going to work. So, with all the talent, an elite recruiting class, you look at all the 5 stars they got, all the 4-star prospects, it's one of the best classes in Coach Heupel's history as a head coach. They should be able to turn it around pretty quickly on the talent on both sides of the ball, the coaches that they're probably going to bring in, and obviously the great savant of a mind on the offensive side of the ball that Coach Heupel has. So unfortunate, but I know Tennessee fans probably enjoyed seeing this.